Welcome to another episode of Simulation Gaming and the interview series. Today, I'm going to have a chat with a nice young gentleman. You might know him from Quidd, where he's a big time Elvis collector, or you may know him from NeonMob, where he collects a variety of different art as well. TranceGamer Christopher is going to be on the channel today. We are going to talk Quidd, NeonMob, graphic design, and AI art, and all the controversy of artificial intelligence in the art community. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome to Simulation Gaming Digital Realities and a new episode, a new interview, this time with a collector and a digital designer. We're going to talk Quidd, we're going to talk NeonMob, we're going to talk other collecting sites, graphic design, and we're going to talk about AI art, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this new art that's coming out in this world. So I'd like to bring on my guest today. My guest today is TranceGamer. He is on NeonMob. He is on Quidd. How you doing, Trance?
Pretty good. What's up, man?
Good. Well, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your collecting, how you got into collecting. Let's learn a little bit about the gamer.
All right, sure thing. My name is Christopher Wheeler. I'm a 3D artist by trade, kind of a generalist, and I started collecting like NeonMob, Quidd, and I'm a big Elvis fan, so I like collecting lots of Elvis stuff and stuffed animals. It's the other thing I do, just for fun. And
Okay.
I create stuff in like 3D and like Blender, Daz, Maya, Max, whatever.
Okay. And what was do you remember as a younger kid, because you're a young guy, do you remember as a younger kid what you first started collecting in the physical world?
I think it was like a stuffed animals.
Stuffed
Mostly.
animals. Okay.
Yeah, stuffed animals
From
and stuff. Yeah,
the Beanie
Disney.
Babies?
Mostly Disney.
Oh, mostly Disney. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to ask you, because Disney's a huge franchise. Favorite character in Disney is?
Stitch.
Stitch from Disney.
Got the
Excellent.
Stitch merch.
Good.
See? Ta-da. Stitch.
Cool. So you started collecting Disney and stuffed animals. Did it evolve into collecting other physical items, or did it go right into digital?
It started with stuffed animals, then it went to like Elvis figures, Elvis figurines, like Elvis memorabilia, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I'm a big Elvis fan, you know, as I said.
Yeah, and that's kind of rare that younger generation that didn't grow up with Elvis when he was alive, are captivated and love his music. So my favorite song from Elvis is probably it's tough because there's so many different ones. Love Me Tender, All Shook Up, Hound
Jailhouse
Dog.
Rock. Jailhouse Rock.
Jailhouse Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Love that one.
That's a good one too. Okay, so how did you then get involved in the digital collecting world? What was the first app that you kind of got involved with, and where did it go from there?
Actually, I think like one of the first apps was actually not really an app. It was just like on the web. Like back in a long time ago. I can't quite think of what it was offhand, but like it was just like old like PNG gifs in like Harry Potter cards and stuff like that back on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you sign up with NeonMob first or with Quidd? What was the first one of those two?
I think it was Neon. No, wait, it was Quidd. Yeah, it was Quidd first, and then it was NeonMob. They were around the same time. Dad was the one that got me into him.
Okay. So with Quidd, we see your profile here on Quidd. You are TranceGamer there, of course.
Yep.
And on Quidd, you have joined, I guess it shows you joined June 3rd, 2016. So you've been part of Quidd for a fairly long time.
Yeah, basically around start is when I started on this thing. Back when it
Okay.
was back when it was trading and all that, stickers was the main thing to collect.
Okay. And then from there, you joined up on NeonMob probably fairly short after. Your dad probably got you set
Yeah.
up on that.
Yeah. I think it was around August, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so on Quidd, obviously you are collecting Elvis and probably Bob's
Animation.
Burgers,
Yep.
animation. So anything to do
Animation,
with that.
anime. Yeah, animation,
Okay.
anime, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, and it says right on your profile you enjoy collecting Funko Pops. Do you collect real life Funko Pops as well?
Yeah, I have a few, just not available to me at the moment.
Yeah,
They're in
yeah.
boxes,
It's much easier and more affordable collecting them digitally than it is collecting them in
physically.
the real world. Yeah,
For sure,
I
for
had a
sure.
bunch of Funko Pops as well and got rid of them. Just they take up so much room and it's just easier to manage on the computer for myself anyway.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
on Neon Mob, if we look at your profile there, looks like again you have a current streak of 409 days that you've logged in, so over a year now. And just maybe
Yes.
tell the new viewers to Neon Mob what is the advantage of logging on every day.
Basically, it's just to make sure you collect everything, just so that way you don't lose your streak. Then with Pro, you don't have to worry about it as much because you only lose like a couple days. But if you aren't on Pro, you don't log in. You go back to one free pack bonus every time you log in the first time, because it's a max of 3 every day. You get 3 additional free packs per day on the first login. But if you forget and go back to 0, like day 1, you only get 1. It's kind of disappointing, but that's how it is.
Okay, yeah, and that's I'm a pro member as well. I'm glad I am because there's so many benefits to being a pro member. And again, one of the things is that you log in every day and you get those 3 packs. And if you forget a day, it doesn't take you right back to 0. It takes you back, I think it's 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big advantage. And just by looking at your banner here, again, the anime, the kind of the lightsabers. Are you a Star Wars fan as well?
Yeah, I like Star Wars. It's pretty fun.
Okay. So we see the banner here and A+ trader. So you're on top of the trades when they're sent to you. So that's good.
Usually,
If anyone
yeah.
If anyone's looking to trade their items, a reliable trader. And again, just some of the sets that you've been collecting over the last couple of weeks. All right, so we know you're on Quidd. We know you're on Neon Mob. Tell us a little bit again about your future, the career that you want to go in. Specifically, I think it's graphic design. Tell us a little bit about your expertise.
Sure thing. So basically, I'm heading towards being a 3D animator, 3D artist, 3D generalist, stuff like that. I have my demo reel if you want to check it out. I can show you
Sure,
that.
yeah.
This is just some of the stuff I worked on for class and stuff, mostly. And that's my description, my email. It's just some of the stuff I made, like ZBrush. Just taking concept art and recreating it was what this was. What all
Cool,
these
yeah.
are. And
Now,
then some of these are other things. This was just a work. These are all this texture work. That's all that is. This was an animation I did at Non-Pro back when I was still working there. Just a simple little animatic. Very simple stuff. This was a character I made for a game that never got released. It was called Venus, was the name of the character, based on concept by him. This was a centaur I made. This was in Blender / Max at the time. That was just test animation I was working on. This was the animation for class I did. Just a guy named Baggy in my little thing. That was a model I made. This was just playing around in Houdini. This was just another animatic. Just walking, putting a box down, stuff like that. This was all stuff for LA Film School, which is where I'm going to school right now to learn 3D animation. And
Wow, that's
yeah,
that's goes a long way from my stick figure creations. Wow,
yeah,
that's really good, Trance. And
yeah,
so, how long would it take? That simple one of the guy that's kind of walking back and forth and waving. How
yeah.
long would that take you to put together just something like that?
Depends. It can take maybe a few days if you're trying to get it accurate, because you have to do a lot of like counterposto and stuff like that, where you have to counterposto is when you're like doing counter animations, where like you have 1 foot down and your hips to the left, so your body's to the right, stuff like that. That's how that works.
And the I would imagine, I mean, just a guess from an amateur here, but that last one you showed with the kind of the miner with the headlight walking around,
Yeah.
that's probably a lot more time involved making that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one was about a week. Well, it was a month total, but like I worked on it throughout a month.
Okay. And did you say LA Film School?
Yes, Los Angeles Film School.
Oh, cool. And how many years have you been taking courses from there?
I started in like 2019, around the time when I quit Non-Puel. Non-Puel was the other studio I worked at prior to going to school. That's
Okay.
where the yeah, that's
And
where the snag and stuff was.
you're in Texas, correct? So you take these
Yes,
online? They're online
yes,
courses?
yes. They're online courses.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let me just go back and share my screen. Let's go on to kind of one of the main things that I wanted to talk to you about, and that
Sure.
is AI art.
All right.
And AI art is, something that very controversial. And
Yeah.
Quid has been bringing out a few AI things. I believe the first one was their summer at the cinemas, and it involved different movie posters,
Yeah.
movies that don't really exist.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about, let's start with just not all of AI art, but just this series first.
This particular series, it's okay. It's kind of amateurish. I don't think they put as much effort into this one compared to some of the later ones they did. Like the most recent set they worked on, thought that one's a little better. Not we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah.
The is the whole thing with the birding. Don't I don't like that aspect, but we get to that later.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave the more controversial things till a little bit later.
Yeah,
And I guess in the
but I
movie
like the
set,
art though.
the more recent one that they put out was the Spotlight one.
Yes,
And, I do admit when they used the Spotlight in the Marvel, I did like, it's a cool little,
it's a, it's a cool effect.
it's a cool effect.
It's simple, but it's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can kind of see as a spotlight goes in this little doll one here, the
Yeah,
text, you can't read the text. So
yeah.
that's again,
I can tell that what they did was for the words, the little doll. They went in post production in Photoshop to like make it actually legible, because nothing else in that's legible. Everything else
oh,
is just
okay.
purely done to AI. I can tell that.
So, yeah. So with the fall in here, if we look at this one here, again, you can read the title.
But every other name is like a gobbled up mess of who knows what.
And even, I agree. This is a very poor AI set because if you look at the faces and the heads, I mean, look at this guy's neck. Like, come on. Yeah, yeah. And I think when it first came out and I saw these, I thought, hey, they're cool. It's something different, right? It's something cool. But then, as time goes on, it kind of wears off on you, especially this set here. It's just lousy AI. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the old style, old school kind of look to it, historical look. But upon closer inspection, yeah, like I
yeah,
don't even know what this is right here.
yeah.
Like,
That looks like a smushed up little face there.
yeah,
I don't know what's wrong
exactly.
with it.
All right. And then Quid went and they did a set involving a beloved
The
character,
character.
Winnie the
Oh yeah,
Pooh.
that one.
And this was the Winnie the Pooh, or the aliens versus Pooh. Now,
Yeah.
again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the original Pooh, that is public domain,
Yes, the
and
books.
the books and using the
Yeah.
characters public domain.
Yeah, the books and
However,
illustrations, but the particular version they used looks very similar to the version that Disney made. And Disney's version is still under copyright from Disney. So that's a major issue that we've been having. Yeah.
in terms of adding Pooh in, it seems very obvious that this was just pasted on after the fact.
Yeah. And as some other people in the Discord, I think LiQWYD was one who said it, he likes the design of the AI itself, just remove Pooh. And I kind of agree with him in a sense. It's still not that great of a set, but I mean, just removing Pooh, it would have certainly made it a better set.
Yeah. And here's a case of this one, to me, I think Disney, and this one here, I think original.
The original. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the original style. The one for Apex Alpha versus Pooh is more like the ones in the books, and the one from Piglet Morph. Oh man, they used his name. I didn't realize that.
There was an award for that, and that was, this one here, which looks like Pooh from a video game.
Doom.
From Doom, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like Pooh is Doom guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the design of the suit is kind of cool, but I'm assuming that was just probably made just based on Doom, because it looks pretty much exactly like the Doom poster from the mid 90s.
I mean, the award, yes, it looks nice. Does it look $150 worth nice?
No,
not to me. This is where I kind of get frustrated, because for something that is artificially created, that is not an official license,
right,
to be listed for that high a price, and just to show that one did sell, the number one, which of course is the most sought after,
right,
$150 that it sold for. What is your opinion about what these AI art pieces are going for on Quidd?
They're definitely overpriced for sure. And the thing is, I did a lot of research into this, in AI art in general, and according to the U.S. government and the Trades Commission, there is no copyright whatsoever on AI art. So anything the AI makes, if there's no human interaction, it's not copyrightable. That's what I've read up on. So basically, so there's no real value there, really. It's because it's purely artificial. No human touched it. I mean, certainly this looks like it might have been touched by a human in the sense of the adding in Pooh in Photoshop and post, but still, it's a very gray area.
Well, and there's no signature of the artist. There's no Quidd stamp on it.
No, nothing. It's just there.
Yeah, and for these to sell for $20, even $5, $15, it's just it's kind of shocking. And I wonder, Trance, if this is something that, because it's new, in the future we are going to see more copyright and regulations with AI art.
Yeah, it's probably going to fall into the same lines of how the NFTs are going to work. They're probably going to end up being copyright and all sorts of stuff.
Okay, and we'll get into other examples of AI art a little bit later, but let's move on to the third AI creation by Quidd, and that was the Musashi set. I believe a lot of this was AI created.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And so with the newest set, one of the big controversies that a lot of the Quidd community is talking about in the last couple of days is this first ever burnable battle, where we have two sets. One is a cat set, one is a snake set.
Yeah.
And by using a 20-sided die, they are going to whittle down all these different characters until there is only one
One
remaining.
left. Yeah.
And in this set, there are 12 items in a set. They all have different HP, or, like Pokemon cards or
Health
Yu-Gi-Oh
points.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, different points.
Yeah.
And whether it's 18 or 14, once they get into these die battles and lose all their points, they are eliminated. But here's the catch, TranceGamer, which I know you know about.
Yeah. They're burned.
Anyone that owns a card that's been eliminated, that card is going to be burnt.
Yep. Poof.
Wiped from their collection, gone. And when these went on sale today for $10 a pack for 6 cards, you might be lucky if one of those 10 cards remains in your collection. What do you think about this burnable event?
I do not like it at all. And the thing is, dude, doing lots of reading up on like how we're going into the idea of like this is sort of gambling in a sense, and that's a big problem with both Apple and Google in terms of their TOS. And like the other day, we were in a call with Michael, the CEO of the company, and basically he flat out said, if the app disappears tomorrow, oh well, who cares? Which was really telling and bad for a company to say that. Like, why do you not care about your core customer base? It doesn't make sense. It's bad for business to do that, but I guess they really want to go web only, so it is what it is. But you're gonna lose like the core of your fans if you do this, but they don't care. We tried to tell them to delay it, not do this. They were firm on this, and they said like allegedly if this works, which I kind of hope it doesn't, but it might, they have like big name sports brands in the mix to do this with next, allegedly.
And yeah, so there's, there is definitely, whether they want to admit it or not, they're not admitting it, but there is a gambling component to this. Anytime you spend money on an item and then there's a chance of losing that item or gaining other profits, that's gambling. And we see that.
They even say bet right there. It says bet right there in plain colors. Bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet. So it says bet 3 times. Bet is gambling. Now, Quidd has covered the bases. They've covered themselves because they are giving, because when you have gambling involved, you have to have a consolation prize. You have to have something for everyone that participates. So anyone that has bought a pack is going to get a commemorative coin.
Yeah,
now, I don't know if that's digital.
But only the people that bought the pack. Yeah. Only the people that bought a pack, though. That's the thing. They specified that specifically. If you buy on the aftermarket, you're tough shit. Sorry.
Well, and I mean, a pack, it makes sense. You should have to buy a pack because then you're involved in the gambling, right?
Right.
But is it a digital coin? Is it a physical coin? Have you heard?
I think it's a digital coin. I believe they said it was either a sticker or a model. I don't quite remember.
Yeah, and so we have all these cards with different CC counts or card counts. Some are as high as 200 cards. Some are as low as 6. And now with the HP, with the health points, what we would consider most valuable cards, right? If you pull a card there's only 6 of them, that's a valuable card. Yeah. Those ones are likely going to lose because they have a low HP and they're going to be burnt and gone forever. So those of you that pulled a card out of 6, sorry, chances are you're not going to get to keep that.
Yeah, that's why I suggest if you really like the art of the card, take a screenshot of it. I know the whole NFT people hate that with a passion, but who cares? If you want to keep the artwork, which you know is going to disappear forever, take a screenshot.
Yeah, very, very easy to do. You can use Snippet, you can use a screenshot on your phone, and you've got that card. It's too bad because I kind of like Of the 3 AI sets, I kind of like this one. I think they
Yeah,
designed these cards well.
yeah, that's what I think too. It's a shame that a lot of these are gonna be burned and disappear. What I'd hope they do, if they bother, which they probably won't, but would be like take the art themselves and keep them as their own separate set. Because that one right there, I really really like that one. Keep scrolling.
Yeah, I don't see that one.
That
Oh,
one, that
this
guy,
one
that
right
guy.
here.
Yeah, that guy. Because that the art's got that 3D look to it, and it just looks really, really good compared to all the other ones. That's the best one they've made, I think.
Yeah. Again, and it's a shame because 8 cards in a collection,
All
7
burned.
or all 8, right?
Yep.
Depending whether the cat wins or the snake wins, only
Yeah.
one of the 16 cards is going to remain. And
Yeah.
you know what makes it worse, TranceGamer, is let's say that miraculously one of the 6 CC wins.
Yeah.
In this entire set, 6 cards will exist after the event.
Yeah. That's no. I don't like that.
But
It's a shame.
again, we will see how it turns out. The the Medium article clearly explains how the game is going to work. They are going to broadcast this on YouTube, which again, I don't know if it breaks violations, but it is kind of gambling on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're going to do this over 3 different nights with the different duels. The aftermarket is open, so I guess after the first duels tomorrow, half the cards will be burnt, and
Yeah.
then the other ones are going to go up in value, and people are going to buy those up, hoping that they're buying the winning card.
Yeah.
Now, I
And
think
yeah. Wait.
somewhere they did give. Yeah, here it is. Here, this is what the payout is going to be.
Yeah.
So, if it's one of the more common cards with the higher HP, the payout is $25 for every card that you
We
own.
have.
So
Yeah.
if I own 4 of them, I get $100 in store credit. Remember, this is store credit. This is not
Yeah.
cash that you can take to the
No.
bank.
No.
You have to spend that on Quidd product.
Right. I
And
think
if
that's the
the
loophole.
yeah, exactly. And it also not only depends on the HP of the card, but also how many rolls of the dice for the competition. So
Yeah.
if it's more than or equal to 13, it's a lower payout. But if the battle is quicker, let's
Yeah.
say that same card, it only takes 6 rolls to end the competition, you get paid out $200 for each of that card that you own.
Yeah. That's a little ridiculous. And how the game works itself from watching the little teaser they showed, it's very boring, but it's 100% luck based.
Yeah. And we have to remember too, guys, those that are watching the competition, it's not a payout after every battle.
No.
This payout is only the final battle when there's 2 cards left. So if you're watching on Thursday night and you say, hey, my cat won or my snake won, you haven't won anything. All
Nope.
you've won is your card goes to the next round. So again, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. I did buy a couple packs because I just wanted to be part of the process in case there is any kind of legal complications down the line. I want to be
Right.
part of this.
Yeah.
See how it goes. All
Yeah.
right.
And it's sold out like instantly, just like how a lot of sets are recently. So you have to basically rely on the aftermarket now. And since you have to rely on the aftermarket, you get nothing if you lose, which is kind
Yep.
of the bad thing.
Yep. So you could go and you could buy this card for $9.99. And if this card loses a battle, it's gone. You get
Yep.
nothing back except the 2 cents that you would get for burning your card.
Yeah. Spend 10, get 2. Ew. That's awful.
Yeah. And you know what, Trance? What I find interesting is people that are listing cards, the number, the 2 means nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing.
Absolutely nothing. The
Nope.
number 2 should be the same price as the number 199
Yeah, or 200.
or 200, right? Because you're not going to have a full set. No
Yeah.
one is going to be ranked in these
Nobody.
sets. Yeah. So your
Yeah.
number has no meaning whatsoever. The only meaning it has is the final card, the low numbers, because these are mintable, will have a little bit more value,
Yeah, but not much.
but not much. So if this number 2 out of 200 wins the competition, yeah, you definitely want the number 2 over the number 200. It's
Yeah.
gonna sell for more. But again, that's 1 out of 16 cards in the set.
Yeah, it's not. No,
Not very good odds.
not
And
at all.
in terms of the sales, a lot of these are selling for $2 to $4, $1.99, $2. And like I said, 15 out of 16 cards
Yeah.
are going to lose all their value because they're going to be gone. They really have nothing to lose, right? They're making all this money, and it's like a casino. A casino pays out big, possibly at the end, but they've made a lot more than they pay out.
For sure. For sure.
The only way that Quidd loses money on this is if one of these 6 prints is the eventual winner and it's in less than 7 rolls, because then that's $24,000 that they would have to pay out to the people that have that card.
Yeah.
If this happens, which is not very likely, it's like
Not
winning
at
the
all.
lotto. If this happens, Quidd's in big trouble. 24,000.
Oh
But
yeah.
at the same time, they're not, because it's
No.
credit. It's
Yeah.
store credit.
It's worthless for all extents and purposes.
Yeah, they don't have to write a check.
No.
It's credit that is going to go to the eventual winner. So, good on Quidd. It helps their company. It's going to generate revenue for them. But for the users, I feel bad, because it's going to be a punch in the face when these cards are burned.
Definitely.
And if because I did pull a number 2 out of 6. I pulled one of those really rare ones, and I thought, hey, I'm going to keep this in my collection forever. No. Chances are
earned.
I'm either going to win. I'm either going to win between $500 and $4,000, or I'm going to lose the card. And this is still really fresh. It's only been a few days since this new collectible strategy has been put into place. And
and they're 100% in. They're 100% in on this idea. They're not backing down.
No, even though the community, most of the community anyway, is vehemently against it.
Yeah.
They're in on it.
Yeah, the whole council was basically saying no, no, no. But Michael said, we're doing this. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah. But the frustrating, again, and I'm guilty of this myself. I bought a couple packs. So the only way to stop things like this is don't buy the product.
Yeah.
If no one buys the product, they can't participate in this little game of gambling. But we get sucked into it, and we buy the product for whatever reason. And Quidd's going, see, it worked. Look at all this money we made. $10 a pack. I don't know what that generated in revenue, but it's a few $1,000s. So we're to blame in a way, right? Because we consume the product.
This is the same argument that goes into like the whole loot box system, stuff like that, all that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And all it's going to take is for one parent to come forward and say, hey, my son spent $40 on these snake and cat cards. He's 12 years old. He did not understand what this was all about, and he lost them all. What's up with that, Quidd?
Yeah, and if it gets removed from the App Store, as I said before, Michael says, who cares? Let it happen. Oh well. Move on. Go to the web. And the web is awful. It doesn't work as well as the app.
No, I agree. I agree. The web is, and maybe they're working on improving the different features, but but I don't like the web. You open packs and they have all this animation. It's really slow. If it's a hot release that's going to sell out quick, I want to open my packs quick, like on the
Yeah,
app, one after the other, not wait 5 seconds for all these, explosions and shiny lights. It's cool, but
it's cool, but
that's not what you
it's
need for
counterintuitive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. There's no point behind it. Just remove the animations. I know they're fun, but it's ridiculous to have to wait that long, especially in this age of constant pulling, quick pulling, where a set sells out in like a day or less.
You know what? They're testing things out, just like this set here. They're testing things out. And
Yeah.
we as consumers are letting them win because we buy the product and they can go on Twitter and they can say, look, the
Look, we sold it
burnable event
out
sold out. Yes, it's
in less
popular.
than an hour. Woo!
This is what the people want.
Yeah. When in actuality, it's not. But
Yeah.
because it's Twitter, you can't really interact as well, and you can't see what the Discord is saying.
Yeah.
That's something else though that Michael was saying. Like he doesn't really want to be in Discord anymore. He just wants it to like disappear. He wants it to be like exclusively done by the collectors. He says, "Leave me alone. I'm a libertarian." That's his stance. I get what Michael wants in the sense of he doesn't want to be in control anymore. He doesn't want to work with it. He wants it to be solely run by the community. I understand that, but I mean, it's an optics game. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and it's like, again, I will just go back to that word inconsistent, where I don't
Yeah,
think all of Quidd staff are communicating properly with each other. And so they're inconsistent with what each of them do and how they run things and what they say. And I don't even know if they really know who's in charge of what on their staff
they
because
don't
they seem to step on each other's toes from
all the
time to
time,
time.
man. All the
Yeah.
time.
All right. Well, let's go on to a more
Positive note.
experience. Okay.
For sure. For sure.
We've ranted on Quidd and we've spoke our mind. And don't get us wrong, people that are watching this, both Trance and I love Quidd.
Yeah.
We are passionate about collecting on Quidd and we want Quidd to survive and our collections to survive. But we have the right as consumers to
You
speak
complain.
out against things that don't make us happy with Quidd, right?
Yeah.
You buy a
Yeah.
t-shirt, it's got a few loose threads on it, and that keeps happening every time you buy a t-shirt from the Gap. You're going to complain to the Gap.
Right. Exactly.
All right, let's
Pretty
move
good.
on to NeonMob. And again, just going to share the screen here. Again, going to look at your page first of all.
Mhm.
And remember, with NeonMob, you can sign up to be a pro member, as Trance mentioned earlier, which gets you exclusive packs. You can store up to 12 packs at a time. You get double the rewards when you complete sets and different accomplishments. You get that streak, login streak protected so that you don't lose all your days. You only lose 10 days. And you receive the old pro badge for your name. So there are a lot of benefits. It is $99 American per year. But believe me, when I became a pro member, I said, this is worth it. And you would agree as well.
Yeah. Definitely. For
Yeah.
sure.
That's, $10 a month or less than $10 a month for a cool collecting experience. Now, when you're on the website, here's a case of the website actually does have a lot more features than the app. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
There's certainly
So-
more ability to trade, and there's all the features where you can compare sets versus you can't really do that in the app. That's something I guess they might be working on, maybe.
Right.
So I've heard.
And not like just on the dashboard. Once you hit level, I think it's level 8, I could be wrong, but once you hit a certain level, you can pin different sets to your dashboard. So if you haven't completed them and you say, well, I want to pin that to my dashboard, it will show up. So that kind of is a reminder. You go, oh, I want to go and open up a pack. Hey, I have free packs available. And I flip the cards and you get 2 cool cat cards for free.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a pro member to get free packs.
Yeah, and that's
Now here,
the great thing about NeonMob is that you don't have to really pay if you don't want to. It's the free-to-play model that Quidd used to have that they abandoned, which kind of made a lot of us mad. A lot of the OGs are mad at that.
so Trans, here is a case of another AI set, this time from a creator on NeonMob.
Yeah,
What do you think
this
about this
this is
AI
good.
set?
Yeah, this is good. That this was made with lots of time and effort and lots of keywords and all that. That's what AI is. It's like telling a story in a sense. You have to go with what makes sense to get what you would desire. It's
Right.
like, yeah, it's all text based. So you are sort of telling a story through your AI in the case of this. With this particular artist just sort of telling a story through his art, even though it's made entirely in AI. Not sure what he's using. It might be Mid-Journey, it might be something else, who knows which one. But it's still a lot more heavily detailed oriented than what we saw on Quidd.
Right. And here's a case of when an artist on NeonMob uses AI tools, it will say in the description here. So,
Yeah.
combination of graphic design and AI tools.
Yeah.
And,
That's what I was talking about before, how technically with sets like this was edited in post by him, probably in like Photoshop or GIMP or Corel Draw or whatever software he was using to create this effect.
now, wouldn't you rather have one of these in your collection than a poo or a
100%.
movie poster that you can't read the text on?
100%, man. This is way better. The art's more high quality. You can understand the details better, and the big thing is there's no text.
And it's got a story behind it, right? It's got a
Yeah,
description, detailed description.
yeah, which makes it more exciting to collect because you can read the story and read the thought process behind the artist.
Okay. And one thing that a NeonMob has as well is sets are not picked by the company itself. Okay. Sets are picked by the community, the ones that are going to be released. And so
Right.
they have a section, a voting section, where you as a user, and you don't have to be a pro user, you can be a free to play user, can go through and look at all the all the submitted sets and the different artists. And you can go, you know what? I love rabbits. I have raised rabbits. I'm going to like that.
Hmm.
And so then, based on the number of likes that a set gets, that will be an upcoming set release. Am I correct with that?
Potentially. It's up to the artist at the end of the day whether or not they actually want to finish their collection or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all up to the artist really. It's a combination of the artist himself actually finishing the work and the community voting on it. Because like some artists take a lot longer to finish than others. It's all about the artist's style and go, oh yeah,
All
this thing.
right. Now, here's another possible AI set that is in works right now. And Bob from NeonMob, a user like us, is
Yeah,
creating this set. This is AI, guys. This is
yeah,
not real photography. It's not simply graphic design. It's AI. Tell me
yeah.
what you think about what you
I
see here.
I really liked this one. This was something I was actually gonna pull up on my end to like give it examples like good AI art because from what Dad's told me from talking to him, like he spent hours and days on this to perfect it just to get it to look the way it does now. And
Right.
he paid the I think it was like $1,000 or something for Mid-Journey to actually have the ability to adjust whatever. Oh yeah, there's like I'm assuming he must have paid like the $30 a month for the standard version to
Right.
fix his thing because I have
Right.
the Mid-Journey documentation for the plans on my end to see
Yeah.
like all the payment plans.
And I mean, based on Midjourney, which is one of the more popular AI programs out there, for as little as $10 a month, you can create images like we saw with the cat. However, as you said, as your dad said, Bob put in prompt after prompt after prompt and recalibrated and kept going. You just don't pump this AI art like this out in 5 seconds.
No, you have to tweak, edit, and work with it and like fine tune until you can get it perfect like this.
And so this was another recent set. We'll kind of talk about this one that was released, and it's a really cool concept. It's basically, what if your cat or your dog was drawn by, a well-known professional artist?
Right.
What do you think about this set here?
It's interesting. It's similar to what Quidd did with the posters and stuff, but it's also different because it's more detail oriented, and he probably worked a lot more to perfect this to make it look as presentable as possible. While Quidd, at least I think, this didn't really try as hard as he did, because like the detail here is a lot more crisp. It looks more like, I don't know how to describe it, like better, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it obviously it looks different than a real painting. If you were to go into a museum, you could tell
Yeah.
it's digital.
Yeah.
But here's that case of, copyright and the freedom for users that use these programs to copy Vincent van Gogh or
Right.
Monet or Walt
Whatever.
Disney. I don't know. I don't know if it crosses a line for me, but it's getting close where we can, because there are commissions for this. These artists can make money on NeonMob.
Right.
And so to copy Rembrandt and to use his name and his style and receive money for that, it comes really close to crossing that line.
It's as I said before, it's a moral gray area. You,
Yeah.
you don't know. It's a pick. You just take your shot, pick your poison, type of deal. Then my thoughts on like the best use for AI is like for concepts, just to get an idea, not really like focus on like creating it just like that. Leave it alone. No, like use it as concept art, as an idea. Like, okay, I like this. Maybe I can just go further into this and make something great out of it. You can probably like take an AI image, like one of those cats or whatever, and like recreate it yourself if you're a good enough artist to, and then like animate it if you wanted to, for example.
Yeah. Okay. And so how about you screen share what you kind of have, and you said you had some examples of good versus bad AI, and we'll go through some of the sites that you have.
Sure. All right. Hang on. Give me a sec. Yeah, you know what? It's good. I'll just do this. Go here. Okay. So this is one of the programs. It's just a login screen for one of the apps. It's called Dream Studio. You can make some pretty decent work with this one. I've experimented with it a little bit. I just don't quite remember my login offhand. And Dawn AI is an app I've been using online on the web. It's unfortunately not available on the website, so you have to download the app to play with it. But as you can see here, you can get some pretty detailed stuff. Like, case in point, I can show you an example of stuff I've made using the particular style. Hang on, get it. Like here's the example I have. Like, this was made in that engine. All I did was, the original art has a copyright mark on the bottom that you can't remove because it's entirely free. So you have to go in post and like edit it out. So that's what I did. I went into Photoshop and like tweaked it a little bit to get it to look like it does here. and because I remember like how much you like history, so that's why I figured I'd show this particular one to you. Decent enough for what it is.
It's decent enough. I mean, you're not going to sell these in museums. You're not going to sell these online for mega money. But if you're
No.
using something for a presentation or for a PowerPoint, and you want to throw something like this in when you're talking about Napoleon, it serves its trick. Now,
Yeah.
the only problem I have with this one is the metals look like they're melted, right? They
Yeah,
look
that's the
like,
problem.
yeah, they've undergone heat or something like that. But otherwise, and the uniform isn't authentic to that time period.
Yeah.
And Napoleon's hat, his traditional hat, I was hoping they'd kind of put that on there as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, there are issues with it. I probably wouldn't use this and say it's Napoleon. I would use
Yeah.
it for, French history or something like.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Okay.
more or less
What
what
else
was
do you
looking
got?
at. Okay, hang on. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, as you can see, this is a lot more like heavily detailed because I specifically like put a prompt to where it would look like this. I had like a blur I think I did like the style of like Dan Harmon. I don't know how it got this from Dan Harmon, but that's what it did. But it came out like this. I did put hyper realistic as a prompt to get this to look like this. And overall, I think this is like very well done, very good detail. And going in and post and deleting the watermark, it kind of, you can tell I did that, but it doesn't look terrible at all.
I think, I think the average viewer would think this was a photograph, a real picture.
Yeah.
I cannot
like,
tell any way, shape, or form that it is AI. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some blur to it, but hey, I mean, you can take real photos that look a little
blur.
blurry. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you can do that in photos.
fantastic AI.
Yeah.
And, compared to, some of the AI that I just kind of played around with Mid-Journey, you have to have the right prompts. If you want something that looks like the cat, you have to put in the exact prompts that's going to give you that more realistic look. If you don't, you're going to get more cartoonish. This baseball player here, I put in the prompt in a game, blue sky, full stadium, 1920, photorealistic with AR of 16:9. And that's what it pumped out. One arm missing.
Yeah.
The legs look like, not legs.
Wonky. Yeah. They look kind of wonky.
Yeah. So again, you have to play around with it. And that's why you might need to pay for it, because you only get so many free entries, prompts, or free images.
Yeah.
And what?
Yeah, in Mid-Journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what
a lot of AI does that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
a lot
they
of
do
AI has a paid version.
With Mid-Journey, when you put in the prompts, it will give you four
copies. Yeah.
that they've come up with. And now if you want to make one more realistic, or I guess you want to enhance it, you would pick that one. And then that's another of your free turns as a free user of it. So this was, simply French Revolution that I put in. Napoleon, French Revolution, color photo, realistic battle. And that's what it came up with. Again, it's okay. I could use this in presentations, but it's nothing like the cat.
Right. It's nothing like the cat at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So, got any others to show?
Sure. I can show a couple more like little things. So in terms of like other software you can use to like create art if you want to, you have like Dream, which is another AI app. You can just put in any prompt. Just go with, for the example here, you can do one of these. Let's do like the fire and water. And let's use, just for an example here, let's do it in HD. See what that makes. So here it goes, just creating it. And this is what Wumbo created in like less than a second, just using the prompt of water and fire. It looks pretty good. It's pretty detailed. It's not great by any means. You can tell it's a little off, but it doesn't look terrible for what it is.
Okay. So you, in this program you can enter in any prompts that you want as well?
Yeah, you can
Okay,
enter any prompts.
let's do one live.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So because we showed, Napoleon already with Dawn AI, let's try
Yeah.
Napoleon,
Okay.
French
Napoleon.
Revolution,
Yeah.
battle,
Yeah.
French flag. Okay, and picked whatever art style
Let's
is.
see. Let's do realistic, and let's do. Napoleon was what, like 19, what,
Early
1900s,
1800s, 1800.
1800,
Just, yeah,
1800.
1800 works. Yeah.
Yeah, 1800s. See how that works. See what it does. Oh God. Well, it's the
Is there
horse
a way to
is
make that
decent.
bigger, Trance? Can you zoom in on that?
Let me see.
All right.
Ugh, yikes.
Well, it's very cartoonish.
Yeah,
And again, the face
the
not
face is
overly.
bad.
Yeah.
The face is bad. The
Okay.
fingers are bad. The horse is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
The horse is decent. The face is a little. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Oh.
and here's the close up of the face.
Oh.
Ugh. Yuck.
We are not
We are not there.
promoting this app too well, are
No,
we?
not
Ooh.
really. Ooh, yuck.
He has been in a few too many
Yeah,
battles, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's that one.
But you know what? AI art is still relatively new.
We knew.
You
Yeah,
know it's going to get better. You know
right.
it's going to get more affordable for people to use. And
Yeah,
we're starting to see it on Quidd. We're starting to see it on NeonMob. I might even in the future create an AI set and submit it because, I like to be creative. I like to try, different things and, maybe a historical set
yeah.
or we'll see. But it gives everyone, even if you're not a true artist,
Artist. Yeah,
digital art is still art.
right. Exactly. Um, I can I could show off like an image of a 3D model I made like a couple of years back.
Okay.
It's on there.
Yeah,
You
sure.
can open it. It's right there. See, this was a sort of a beetle drone I made for a game. It's just there. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. See, like created this. I have a texture on it, but I don't have it on the model right now. But that's more or less what I did. I did this entirely in 3ds Max in like a couple days, and that's how I got that one. And
Okay.
that's that. So, and some potential software to use if you want to create art like this would be akin to like using, you can use like DAZ 3D, which creates like art like this, make 3D artwork using whatever. You can have this and you can get high quality like this, these, all this stuff. And they have their own AI, not AI, but like NFTs that they created, like these guys here. You can tell they're all very similar. That's an issue, I think, with how NFTs work, because it's all like simulated, similar to how AI works. But I mean, they're not bad. You just have to work with it, just like in AI. You have to work heavily to get a high detailed piece, like how this one was, because the crown is like very detailed in this. And the another software you can use is Blender if you want to create 3D models. It takes a lot of work to actually get it right, but there's all sorts of tutorials and stuff you can do to learn about how to create decent art in Blender, and it's entirely free, so you don't have to pay anything, which is nice. So that's how that works. And yeah, that's basically it in terms of what I have for that.
Yeah.
Overall, though, like art is subjective. Art is fun to create if you know how to do it. And even if you don't, just playing around, just have fun with it. Don't stress too much about getting the perfect piece in like an hour. It's not possible. You have to work at it. That's the thing with art. It's all about time and effort and passion.
So again, if people
Yeah.
want to, get a hold of you, they can go on to NeonMob. They can look for you on there and initiate trades with you. You, of course, again, are on Quidd as
Mm,
well.
yep.
And again, you're a collector firsthand. You're not there to sell and make a lot of
Yeah.
money. You're there to collect.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is
Basically
very
it.
cool to have this conversation with you and hear from a fellow collector and someone that knows graphic design and AI art. And in the
Yeah.
future, if other programs come out or if you start using AI art a lot more, we'll get together and we'll have part two of this episode and talk
For sure.
more about AI art and maybe do more live creations right on
Yeah.
the broadcast because
Yeah.
that
That
would
could
be
be
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you so much, TranceGamer, and
Mhm.
keep on collecting and doing what you're doing, pumping out all that creative, good-looking graphic design, and yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice hair you got going there.
Thanks.
Okay,
All right. Later.
bye.
Bye. Mm.
Again, a huge thank you to TranceGamer Christopher for popping in for this interview. I always have fun talking to collectors and artists, anyone involved in collecting. If you want to check Christopher's collection out, go on to NeonMob, look him up on Quidd, send him a message. If you are not on NeonMob yet, what are you waiting for? Get on there, it's free to use. And if you want some extra perks, which are really well worth it, become a pro member. For $99 a year, you can become a Neon Pro member and get all those perks that we talked about earlier in the episode. And if you're a fan of Halloween, we have some really cool Halloween sets coming up in the month of October. Bad seeds, pumpkins, Halloween haunts, monsters, very, very cool sets that NeonMob collectors and artists have created because many of our artists are also collectors on the app. Remember, you can use the app, you can use the website www.neonmob.com. Will get you to where you need to be to collect some of these cool Halloween sets. And if you are an artist of some of these sets or any sets on NeonMob, or simply a collector on either of the apps that we talked about today and want to come onto the channel and simply talk about the passion of collecting and art, contact me on Discord. You can reach out to me on the email in the About section of the YouTube channel. I would love to talk to more collectors on the channel. Please do so. It's time for the hardcore collector band to play us out. We have Rachel on the violin, Hovey joins us on the drums, Kid Cutter on the bass guitar, and of course, on lead vocals, today's guest, TranceGamer. Everybody in the old cell block was dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. Thanks, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next episode. Collect what you love and love what you collect. And as always, be kind to yourself and someone else this week.